Welcome again to Business Analysis Techniques. This is your online instructor, Diana Block, and we're in week 5 now of our 6-week session, so we're almost to the end. Just a quick reminder here, next week is a short week. Final week ends on Thursday, so keep that in mind as you're working through your assignments this week. If you have extra time, go ahead and get started on the week 6 requirements. But let's talk about week 5 right now. And you're going to continue to use Solver, which we've been using for the last week or so already. So I won't go into as much on that because you understand how to use it. You have to enter your constraints. You have to make sure the problem is set up correctly is the best way to make sure that Solver works for you. So just a hint on this problem 1, and what you're wanting to make sure of here is that your amount received at each location is less than or equal to what is demanded. So what is received less than or equal to what is demanded. And then you have to remember that, make sure that what is shipped for each location is equal to the capacity. You can't ship more than the capacity is. And they can't receive more than their demand is. So those are the constraints, the 2 constraints that you're going to have there. So your changing cells are the green box in the middle. These are the cells you're going to change to determine how much should be sent to and from each location based on the shipping capacity and the demand. And then, let me fix that so it'll go to the next page. Then the second problem is similar, but you've got an additional location in here. So, but you're still going to have the same constraints. You're still setting that problem pretty much up the same. You just have a different location that you're going to compare. And so then you'll be able to determine between 1A and 1B which location is the most cost effective. That's what you're doing there. So you're using Solver just like you've done it before. Each of these 2 problems, 1A and 1B, you're going to have 2 constraints. One related to capacity and one related to demand. So then on problem 2 here, you're going to use Solver again, and this is another one similar to problem 5 from last week, where you're going to try to maximize the reach of an ad. And so you're going to have a couple of different constraints here. You're going to have 3 constraints that you're going to look for, and the constraints are that primetime ads must be greater than or equal to 2. Off-peak ads have to be less than or equal to 6. And then you've got a total budget of $1,800. So those are the 3 constraints that you should have. And so you're going to change the number of each ad based on those constraints. And the objective function of each one is the reach of the ad. So you're trying to maximize the reach of the ad subject to those constraints that we discussed. So again, you've worked problems similar to this in last week. Now, problems 3 and 4 are going to be different from what we have worked on up to this point. We're going to be using the random number generator, so make sure that you are reading the course material about that. That's a new function in Excel that we're going to use. And you're going to have to fill out a couple of different things. You're going to have to fill out on problem 3 the probability. And so to get the probabilities, you're going to follow the instructions in the text to get the probability. Let's see here. You've got in this column, in column B, your frequency and the total down here, the total amount of your frequency amounts. And then over here you have the number of cars arriving. So this is similar to the example in the book. To get the probability for 4 cars arriving, you're going to take the 4 divided by the total frequency. And that's your probability that goes here. Similar to here, you take the 5 divided by the total frequency. And so then you'll have all of your probabilities filled out. And once you have the probability filled in, then you can enter your probability ranges lower and upper. So the lower range of probability is going to obviously be 0. And then the cumulative on this row will be the probability that you got here. So then the lower range probability for the next line will be the high end, or the cumulative on this line, plus the probability here will give you the cumulative. So cumulative is just like it sounds. It's the lower range plus the current. So I know that sounds weird, but once you read the material, you'll follow it. Once you have the probabilities filled out, then you're going to basically keep adding those on. So the lower range is the lowest probability range for that probability level, and then the cumulative is where you just continue to add them on. I know that sounds a little confusing, but when you actually read the material, it'll make perfect sense. And if not, just give me a call and we'll talk about it, or send me an email. And so down at the bottom is where you're going to use the random number, or the VLOOKUP, I'm sorry. You're going to use the VLOOKUP, and you'll be looking up information in this table. So you're going to look up, this is your table, so you're going to look up the random number in this table, and it's going to give you the number of cars arriving. So here's your table. Here's your table information. And then you'll do the same over here. We're just going to have a different set of numbers. Here's where you're going to generate the random numbers. These numbers are given. These are randomly generated. So you're going to basically follow the same steps on both sides, except that you're going to go ahead and generate random numbers for this side. This is going to be important. Like I said, this is different than what you've done before. So it's going to be important that you do all the reading this week so that what I'm saying in the video makes more sense. If you read it first and then follow along with the video, you'll say, oh, okay, that's what she's talking about. So in problem 4, this is similar to the last one. Again, you're going to enter high and low probability ranges. Then you're going to also, some random numbers are provided for you. You're going to enter formulas for all of these items, and I'm going to go ahead and give you a hint on these two. The back orders, the first back order is going to start off as 0, and that's given. The next back order is going to be the previous day's total weighting minus the previous day's actual production. Day 2's back orders is going to be day 1's total weighting minus day 1's actual production. Your new customers weighting, that's what you're going to VLOOKUP. That's where the field you're going to do the VLOOKUP to find that information. So then to get the total weighting, you're going to take any back orders plus your new customers. That's your total weighting. And so the possible production, you're going to do a VLOOKUP in this table. This is where you're going to do the VLOOKUP over here for possible production. Then your actual production is going to be the minimum of either the possible or the total weighting. That's what you're going to enter for the actual production. You'll write a formula that says, give me the minimum of either the possible production or the total weighting. So those are the formulas that you'll need to fill this out. Your average back orders is going to be just like it sounds. You're just going to average all of these fields. And then, so the gift card budget then is going to be 30 days times that average times $10, which is the cost of the gift card. So those are your hints for the formulas for these. And these problems, like I said, the first 3 problems are solver. The last 2 problems are new information using VLOOKUPs and random number generators. So you may have some questions because there's a few different concepts that you're working on this week. And we can talk about it in the discussion area if you like. You can also always send me an email or call me if that's more convenient for you if you want to talk about these some more. But remember, there's also additional information in the additional resources area. There's another video in there about integer programming and some other information. So you can check out those videos as well, and they go into some additional detail. And have a great week.